Hey everybody, Billy from Billy's Bike Adventures. Thanks for tuning in today and watching the video. Now today I'm going to be showing you how to remove the sat-nav preparation on your BMW if you have it. Now the reason I'm going to be doing it is because I'm going to have a different setup on my cockpit of my BMW in the future. There's going to be a couple of videos coming up about that. One, it'll be about mobile phone and using those as a sat-nav device versus an actual sat-nav device. What are the pros and cons of each and why I'm changing my setup. And of course then there will be the installation for the power unit that's going to be sat on the BMW, on the cockpit of the BMW, because I'm going to be taking this power unit off and I'll be showing you how to install a new one. So if you want to see how to remove the BMW sat-nav prep, keep watching and let's get into it. Right, so the first thing that we need to do is to take the cover off the sat-nav preparation. So let's unlock that. Pull that back across and push. Right, what we've got to do now is take out these 4 screw bolts here. So let's get that done. Right, so in order to take these screws out here, you need a T20 socket head. Be careful not to smack the handlebars. Right, now that they're loosened off, I'm just going to use one hand to catch the nuts at the back and hopefully to pull the screws out. I'm going to put that nut on straight away so I don't lose it. Just put that to one side. Do the same with the other ones. What I'll do once I take it off, I'll put the bolts back in and the screws to keep it together. So when I do sell the bike, the sat-nav prep can go back on. Right, the bracket's coming off the back now. Right, this is where everything comes apart now. So take that screw out. Right, there's the main bracket that the nav 5s and 6 sit in. Let's take this last screw out. The washer hasn't come out with that. There it is, there's the washer. Right, so let's take that away. Right, what we need now is a cable tie cutter, and what we need to start doing is to cut these cable ties holding the cable in, and then just down inside here, I'll use a torch in a moment, there's a plug in there that this cable plugs into, and it's quite straightforward to be able to remove that. So there's the cradle that the nav 5s and 6 would sit in, and hopefully you can see here there's the cable ties in here. And then if I use my torch from my phone, you can see just down inside, if I angle the camera downwards, you can just see inside here, there's a couple more cable ties and the cable just runs down here and there's a plug just down there. And that is where the sat-nav plugs into. So let's get these cable ties, let's get these cut first and free up the cable so that we're able to unplug. So. Being careful, obviously, not to cut the cable itself. There's the cable, and there's that plug there, that white plug just down there, is where the sat-nav plugs into. And so it's an easy just release that from its socket. And that is the BMW sat-nav preparation removed from the cradle in order and ready for me to set up a new setup. So I think I'll push that down. There we go. That's released. That should come out now. There we go. There was a little clip on the side. So let's take this out now if we can, carefully, not to damage anything. There we have it, and removing the sat-nav prep. There's the plug down there. So there we have it, that's the sat-nav preparation removed, ready for me to have a new setup here. And the power cable, or the power supply cable, is just down inside here, look. You can see it down there. So that there is the power cable, and it was just clipped inside, just here. Just down inside here, a cable tie around there, and it was sitting in there quite snugly. And there's I don't know if you can see it, but on this side, just here, there's a little clip that secures the plug into the power supply. So ready for a new setup on my BMW GSA. So there we have it, a pretty straightforward job to do. You do not need to be electrically minded, auto-electrically minded to be able to do this. There is one plug, there's two plugs on the end of the sat-nav prep, and it's the female end that unclips from the power supply on your bike. And that's pretty straightforward. All you need is some cable tie snips just to cut the cable ties where the cable is secured, and you need a T20 to remove the screws from here, which are under the secure plate. And it's pretty straightforward. Just really have the confidence to do it. If you want a different setup on your GSA, I've taken this off because I'm not going to be using this. The nav5 and the nav6, rubbish. I know some of you will say you've never had any problems, but I see so many issues about them, and so many so many replacements especially on Facebook, people complaining about these. I just do not want to spend 400, 500, 600 quid on a BMW sat nav, and it's going to be rubbish. So there are alternatives out there, mobile phones as well as other sat navs. Stay tuned for what I'm going to be doing on what my setup is going to be new on my cockpit and the reasons why. There'll be a video coming up about that pretty soon. Any questions or comments, leave them down underneath the video and I will get back to you as soon as I can. But for now, thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you again very soon.